Well, I went to Aldi's today and I picked up some mushrooms because I was searching online to find something else that I have never done before to dehydrate. And I ran across this recipe for mushroom salt. They were saying that you can put this in your eggs, your soup, anything that you're cooking, and it just enhances the flavor. So I was like, mushroom salt. And I was like, I've never tried that before. So I picked up 4 of these mushroom containers at Aldi's. They were $1.89. They were $1.99 if you wanted them cut up. But I was like, shoot, I can cook these things up myself. So I picked up those 4 and I diced them up and I have them in my dehydrator. And that's what they look like. So I am about to go and stick these into my dehydrator machine. And soon as these things get dehydrated, then I'll come back and we will continue to make this mushroom salt. I know you're going to need some kosher salt, some red pepper flakes, and some thyme and dehydrated mushrooms. And that's it. I was like, oh, I have all those ingredients in my house or out in the garden because I'm growing some thyme out there that I had from last year. So that will be perfect. So I just need to get these mushrooms dehydrated. So I picked up the white fresh mushrooms. So we shall see how these goes. I've never done it before. But you know, Miss Renee loves a good challenge. And I love that I get to dehydrate something else. Woohoo! Alright guys, so once these things get dehydrated, then I'll come back and we will continue the process. Alright you guys, here we go. Mushrooms are done. Let me show you what they look like. This is what dehydrated mushrooms look like. Isn't that the coolest thing? And they are ready to be crunched up. Look at that. Crunched up, and get ready for making our mushroom salt. So let me show you another ingredient that we're going to need in order to make the mushroom shrimp. All right, here we go. Let me show you. So the next ingredient that we're going to need in making our mushroom salt is going to be some thyme. And this is the thyme that I grew in my garden last season, and it is coming back strong. So look at this beautiful thyme. I just wanted to show you a couple of the ingredients that we're going to be needing. And when we get started with this mushroom salt tomorrow, we're going to need some red pepper flakes and some kosher salt, and that is all we're going to need. So tomorrow we'll be grinding up the mushrooms, adding this thyme, adding some of them red pepper flakes, and we will be adding some salt. All right, guys, are you just as excited as I am to make another seasoning? I'm most excited about making this seasoning is because I've never made mushroom salt before. Hey, how are you going to know if you don't like it, if you don't try it? So, see? I'm telling you, you better jump on this spice train with Miss Renee and let's get creating our spices together. All right, guys, let's get these mushrooms crushed up and get this mushroom salt made. Guys, it's your girl Renee, and today we are going to finish making this mushroom salt. So these are all the ingredients you're going to be needing. Going to be needing some kosher salt. And you're going to need some crushed red pepper flakes. And you're going to use some ground thyme. But as you know, I have some fresh thyme that I picked out of my garden. They say you're supposed to have dried thyme, but I am going to put some of my fresh thyme into my food processor with my mushrooms. So I'm so excited about this because I have never made this before, so I'm going to scale down the recipe because they want you to use 2 cups of this kosher salt. And with me not ever trying this before, I'm just going to do 1 cup of salt. But I'm going to keep the same amount of red pepper flakes, which they want you to have 3 tablespoons of this red pepper flakes, and they want you to have 2 tablespoons of the thyme. So you know, I'm going to put extra thyme in it because I like the flavor of thyme. So let me bring you down so you guys can see what the mushrooms look like before I grind them, and then I will show you what the mushrooms look like once they have been ground together. So here we go. Are you guys excited? Because I know I am. Let's get it together. All right, as you can see right here, this is what the mushrooms look like when I put them in my food processor. They haven't been ground up, and this is what they look like after I have put them in the food processor and they have been well ground up. And the smell of these mushrooms are very, they have a really strong aroma. And also I want you to know that when you make this mushroom powder, this powder is real. See how it has all that like mushroom like powder flying around? So you have to like, when you put it in your food processor, you want to keep the top on for a while because you want all that dust and stuff of the mushroom powder to settle. So let's put in our pepper flakes, which they said we needed to have 1 tablespoon of this pepper flake. So let's put them in there. I like red pepper flakes, so we're just going to add a little bit more since we're not going to put all the salt. And I want this mushroom salt to have like a little kick to it, because if I'm going to be adding it to my soups and stews or whatever, I'm going to want to have a nice little flavor of it. And this is the thyme, which what I'm going to do is my thyme that I grew in my garden, I'm going to put it inside this food processor, and we're going to grind that all together. So when it comes out, it'll have a consistency of this. And this is the thyme right here. And they said 1 tablespoon. So it'll be, mine will be a tablespoon, probably 2 tablespoons of the thyme, because I'm going to add my fresh thyme in there. And then they said 1 cup of this kosher salt. So let's get our 1 cup full, because if I like it, then I'll come back and I will use this at full strength. So here's the 1 cup of the kosher salt. Let's blend that all up together. Maybe it'll, with all that other ingredients, maybe the dust of the mushroom will settle down. Get a little bit of settling down. So let me grind up the rest of these mushrooms, but this is what it looks like so far. You can see the pepper flakes in there. But do you see it still has some of that mushroom mist that we call it still rising up? So let's put some of this freshly grown thyme into this food processor. So I'm just going to stick this freshly thyme in there, because I like thyme. Thyme is such a nice little added flavor to these mushrooms. So let's put that in there because I'm so excited about trying this salt. I've heard, you know, when I was reading it, they were saying how it tastes and the flavor was just amazing. So we shall see. And the rest of this thyme that I don't use, I'm just going to put that in my dehydrator. and I am going to dry it so I can have some freshly dried thyme. So we put some of that in there. So let's put the top on here, and it takes no time to get this thing going. So I always put my hand over the top. Let's get it going. See the smoke of the mushroom. Look at all that. See what I'm saying about that powder? You have to be very conscious of that because you have to let that dust of the mushroom settle. And then let's pour the rest of this in here. And this is what it looks like once it comes out of the food processor. See what I'm saying? How it's been all grinded up. And we're just going to add that little bit left into this bowl. Now let's stir this up. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more thyme to it. Because I don't know about you, but I just love the taste of thyme. Okay, now let's give this bad boy a taste test. You guys ready? All right, here we go with the taste test, you guys. This is what it looks like. This is supposed to be the mushroom salt. Okay. I'm gonna get another spoon. All right, here we go. The mushroom salt, you guys. Put a little bit on the spoon. That's how much we're going to be tasting. I'll wet my little finger. Here we go, you guys. Ready? Woo! Here comes the taste test. First thing I taste is a lot of salt. So instead of putting a cup of salt in there, I will definitely be putting maybe like a 1/4 or a 1/3 cup of salt in there. But you can taste the red pepper flake because I have that heat on my tongue. I can really taste the thyme, and that fresh thyme is amazing. So the only thing I would do different in this recipe is I would put less amount of salt because I don't eat a lot of salt. So this right here, when I use this mushroom salt, I will, if the recipe calls for more salt, I won't put any other salt other than this mushroom salt. But you can taste the flavor of the mushroom, and that the pepper flakes is something else. I just have to try it again. Less salt for sure, because that's a little too salty for my taste. So I would, like I said before, I would reduce the amount of salt, but I would probably increase more of this red pepper flakes. Because I can taste the heat of the red pepper flakes, but it's not like as strong as I would want it. So I would put a little bit more of that heat in there. And I probably, because I have some more mushrooms in my refrigerator that I'm going to dehydrate, and I'm going to add some more mushrooms into this so I can maybe like diminish the real saltiness of this of this mushroom salt. Well, it's called mushroom salt. So you can really taste the salt. I can tell you that for sure. Would I make this again? Of course I would. But I would just, like I said, reduce the salt. But I can't wait to put this in something. So I think what I'll do tomorrow is I'm going to make me an omelet, and I'm going to add some of this mushroom salt into the omelet and see what that tastes like. Because the only thing I'm going to add, because I won't need any pepper. Lord knows I won't need no salt because it already has that in there. So all I need to do is just beat up my egg, sprinkle some of this in on my egg, make it into my omelet, and baby, I think that is going to be exceptional. Oh my goodness. So I will have to come back on a later date and just let you know how it all went down with me using this mushroom salt in an omelet. Because I'm so excited, because I just brought some eggs. So I'm so excited to make me an omelet using this mushroom salt. Alright, you guys. So if you want to try this recipe and you don't like a lot of salt, decrease the salt. It wanted me to put 2 cups in here. Can you imagine if I would have put 2 cups of salt in here? That would have been way over my threshold. So I only put 1 cup, and that was a little powerful for me. So I would say reduce, or I would recommend the next time I make this, I'm going to add a little salt, mix it up, and taste it. And then if I need a little bit more salt, add a little bit more salt, because it's easier to add the salt than for you to have to take the salt out. You understand what I'm saying? Guys, so I will keep you posted on the omelet and use of the mushroom salt. I might do a cooking in the kitchen with Renee using this mushroom salt. That's what I'll do. I'll make a video me making an omelet, and I will use this mushroom salt. How about that? That's probably even better, right? I think so too. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video about making mushroom salt. And if you've ever made mushroom salt before, let me know down in the comments how it turned out for you. What did you add? What did you didn't add to your salt? How you thought about it? I am so curious if all of you guys or somebody out there in the garden community has tried this mushroom salt. Alright guys, love you. Have a wonderful day. And Miss Renee will definitely see you guys in the next video with this wonderful mushroom salt. Look at that. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. And it makes a big bowl of it too. Alright guys, see you in the next video. I can't wait to try this salt tomorrow. Woohoo! Wish me luck. Well, you guys will be there with me. We'll just keep our fingers crossed together, child, because I can't wait to see what the end results will be. Alright, you guys, take care. Go ahead and try it. I think you'll like it. Just don't put too much salt, though.